Welcome back again to the world of poetry. This is Kavita Bunsokha. I'm representing as a host today. Today's topic is about Emily Dickinson's classic poem called One Night. Let me read the poem for you guys. Why night, were I with thee? Why night should be our luxury. Futile the winds in a heart in port. Done with the compass, done with the chart. Rolling in Aden are the sea. Might but I more tonight in thee. Let's look into the background of the poem. At the time the poem was written is in 1862, with the restriction on sexual expression would have been severe, especially within the Dickinson household, where Father Edward and Mother Emily keep reins on family affairs.
Speaking of her background, Emily Dickinson herself never had a fully established intimate relationship with another person, so it would be understandable for a young woman in her 30s with a rather shy and secretive nature to want to express her innermost self through her writings.
Why Nice present the leader with a great challenge. There little doubting that the poet's use of certain words, which she might have known about, points toward the poem's theme being sexual in nature.
Let me give an example. The word luxury in Emily Dickinson's time meant gratification of the senses, sensual pleasure. The prominence of the word in the first stanza, coupled with full lines, suggests a reading role.
The quick repetition of why nights with the emphatic exclamation point at the end gives reader a sense of intensity right from the start. These are not the kind of why night that one can quietly wait out with a nice cup of tea. The speaker insistent on this phrase put readers right in the middle of the storm with her. The reader may be spurred to imagine her looking out into the wind and the rain, marveling at nature's power.
I think the speaker's use of the word wine to describe these nights, wineness has connotations not only of intensity, but of beastly ferocity, the untamed energy of the natural world. Then readers already get a hint that there may be something animal and bodily in this storm.
Mhm. This loud, excitable introduction is followed by a second line that help put things into perspective. I think the speaker seemed to be Mary proposing the idea that if she and some other could be together, then why night would certainly ensue.
Yeah, you so absolutely right about the first stanza. Let's move on into the second stanza. There is some ambiguity has been, introduced as the speaker announced that the winds cannot be of any use. So, what do you guys think about it?
I think this is the first mention of an element, the first clue, the winds that blow, that cause change. For me, the second stanza is even more ambiguous than the first. She speaks on the winds and how they are futile. The separation between futile and the winds make the word more impactful, as if it is the only possible definition for the force. They are useless to the speaker. Something has happened now. It resulted in her no longer needing the wind to guide her.
Exactly. The third and fourth lines reinforce the idea that the journey is of is of no consequences. Reason and direction mean nothing. What about the third stanza? Anyone want to share?
About the third stanza, the poet writes the word Eden, right? Which is the biblical garden where Adam and Eve first lived. And here is the speaker in the boat rowing across an imagined sea. Rowing is an obvious sensual action, a rhythmical movement that many have construct as sexual.
Mhm. And for the third line, it brings home the ideas of immediacy, the word tonight, and wishful thinking minded, related to the word more, which means to faster onto, as with a love to the land. Has anyone noticed about the rhyme?
Yeah, there is an inconsistent rhyme scheme based around A, B, C, B, right? The second and fourth lines being full rhyme, the luxury, C and the, except in the second stanza where it is near rhyme, which is the word port and chart.
Yeah, you have to note in the first stanza that at last the three lines in the last three line are full rhyming, which add the idea of union and bonding. What about the meters?
So the meter of this poem is written in diameter 2 feet on average per line, but the types of foot altered a bit from stanza to stanza, strengthening to notion that the speaker is in the boat rowing. Yet the experiments are slightly different as the poem progresses.
The most striking aspect of the rhyme is the stress of the first and last syllable of several lines, which is the underlying rhyme and gives the feel of the physicality either of the waves or the human actions.
Okay, last but not least, was common with Dickinson poetry. There is more than one interpretation of the text. One can interpret the love or passion expressed by the speaker as aim at a lover, or as a result of spiritual love of God. One should consider the fact that Dickinson came from a very strict religious household. Therefore, if intended sexually, this piece of work, which is written in early 1860, would have been very shocking for the people at that period of time. All right, then, that is for today. Hope you guys enjoy. And before that, don't forget to subscribe and like. Should you have any comment it down below. See you next episode. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.